Hi everyone, Andy here at Spymaster Gaming. Welcome back to the channel and a very warm welcome if it's your first time joining us. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I built a 2,000 point army for Grimdark Future by one-page rules, not using a 3D printer and doing so for under $15. But before I go any further, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'm still new to YouTube and trying to grow the channel, so anything you can do to do that would be greatly appreciated. So, army for under $15. How did I do it? Well, you're going to judge me, and feel free to do so, but I was sick of being bombarded by adverts for Temu, a Chinese company, which I think is the new version of Wish, because Wish seems to have died a death. And I was hesitant looking into it. I finally bit the bullet and Googled modelled kits and wargaming to see what results came up. Pleasantly surprised, I saw these robot looking things. Now, I've been told by a friend in my gaming group they are knockoff replicas of Gundam, the Japanese robotic sci fi models, which have been around for many, many years. I don't have a lot of knowledge around Gundam. I know what they are, but don't really have any knowledge into the individual models and that. And I got told that this is actually a replica of a kit called the Barbatos, but looking at the description here, as I'll show you now on Temu, it doesn't give any indication what it was at the time when I was buying it. It's quite a wacky description, as you can see there, not really very descriptive at all, if I may say. So I took a punt and bought 4 of them. And with the introductory offers that I was being given through Temu, I managed to get all 4 for about £12, including the shipping, which I was really surprised at. And I thought, oh God, they're probably going to be really bad quality. Not going to actually be able to put them together. Knowing my luck, I've probably just made a grave error. But I'm glad I took the risk. So I'm going to show you what I actually received, what they look like when they're together, and sort of how I intend to use them as well. So here we go. So, 4 relatively battered boxes came. One of them was open, so not the best start to the Temu experience. The artwork and the name were ripped directly from a Gundam box, as I mentioned. The only difference is that instead of Japanese, it is Chinese characters on it. It felt low quality, and the actual state of the box had me concerned. But upon opening the box and looking at the sprues, I was pleasantly surprised. It's all self contained and sealed in the bag, no loose parts. The sprues looked relatively simple in terms of clipping components off, and the stickers were there. It looked like everything was present. The instructions were my next concern. I read the first page where they had attempted to give a bit of lore to the Barbatos and the translated English, which was hilarious to read. Although I probably shouldn't mock because their English is better than my Mandarin. So, yeah, I'm not in a position to mock there. The actual instructions were relatively simple to follow. All of it was numbered and in sub-assembly for different parts of the model. So the head, chest, legs all had sub-assembly stages, which made it nice and easy to follow. So, all in all, quite good. So at the time of recording this video, I've managed to assemble 3 of the 4 fake Gundams, and it's taken me approximately 2 hours per model kit. Now, there were a couple of issues with some of the sub-assembly bits. The legs in particular were a bit fiddly, but once I'd got it worked out for one model, the other models were relatively straightforward after that. No real concerns. Everything went together quite smoothly, and at the end of it, I've got 3 quite cool looking models, which I'm going to show you now. So here we are, 3 of the 4 fake Gundams. 2 I've opted to assemble with swords, 1 with a great mace. They look pretty dynamic, they're fully posable, and they're on the stands I intend to use as their bases in the game. But they do have some issues, which I'll go on to now. But overall, they look pretty damn cool. So here's one of them here. Like I say, overall pretty good. A couple of minor things which I'd say were a bit of an issue. The stickers, which were obviously painted on the advert, they are really, really fiddly. I've attempted to put a couple of on, but they just were really difficult. And even if you had a knife, I think they'd be quite difficult to try and get them off the sheet. The joints largely are quite good, but the actual joins where they pop together, um, not the neatest sort of joins. And you can obviously glue it. This is all pop fit at the moment, which is a pro of the kit. If you didn't want to use glue, you can just leave it as it is. Um, those are the minor things, really. A couple of bits fall off quite easily, like the shoulder pads and the little tassels on the hips there, which you can sort of see. But it's a pretty good kit for the money. I mean, what, £4 or £3 rather? And looking at the actual Gundam, if you was to buy the official Gundam, you'd be paying about £25, 30-ish dollars. So, considering I'm not a Gundam fan, I'm quite happy with it. It's fully sort of transportable as well if you need to. The arms pop off, if you need to just pack it down and they pop back on. Superposable, and when it's on the stand, yeah, it's got its own base built in. So I'd say probably a solid 8 out of 10 for the kits, and for the purpose I'm going to use them for, they will be perfect. And I'll just go on to that now. So the list I'm going to use for the models that I've shown you in this video is a 2,000 point force of Titan Lords. I'm taking part in a tournament in October, and I'm going to be playing it in a 3,000 point tournament. So I'm allying in the 2,000 points of this with 1,000 points of Human Defense Force. Because it's a 3,000 point game, it means I can take up to 4 units of the same type. So I am going to be using only one profile from the Titan Lords list, and that is the Errant Mini Titan, but with 2 different loadouts, which I'll show you now. The first loadout is with the Titan Flail and the Titan Fist, and the second loadout is with the Titan Sword and the Titan Fist. So the flail's going to be represented by the Great Mace, and the sword is obviously represented by the models with the sword. Now, this is a very fun, quirky list. I don't expect it to do well. For context, you can take up to 15 units in a 3,000 point game. I am currently taking about 7, so I'm going to be outnumbered, likely outgunned, but I really want to see how well that these melee brutes can perform. Like I say, they've got a bit of ranged output with the top fusers, but I just want them to move up the field very quickly, engage in combat, and just see how they do. Even with their regeneration, which is basically a 5+ save if they fail their defensive save, I don't imagine them lasting very long. But I don't care, and that's why I bought these models, because I was time poor, didn't have time to paint up a new army, and I thought, what's the quickest, jokiest way I could get a force on the table? And this idea came into my head, and I'm really glad I've done it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think I'm being foolish? Do you think this is a terrible idea in terms of portraying models on the tabletop? Do you think that they're going to perform well at the tournament? I'd be really interested to know what you think. Let me know, and stick around for when I do the tournament coverage, which will be in a week or so's time after the publication of this video. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.